I'm Jenny Hall. I'm from Hulme Community Growers near St Helens in Merseyside, and I'm also a trustee of the Vegan Organic Network. So the talk that I gave today was called Towards Veganic Agriculture, and it was a sort of re-look at Simon Fairley's work, I guess, which is 11 years old now, of Can Britain Feed Itself. So I'm sort of really interested in the potential of veganic, and that's vegan with an organic focus, to feed people. And I think we still need to sort of be looking at how we can reduce our arable land use, and one of the ways for me that is how we move food production onto marginal land that's perhaps traditionally not thought that suitable to grow crops. How can we do that, and particularly perennial growing, forest gardening, nut groves, orchards, soft fruit growing, what is the potential of that in the UK? Hulme Community Growers is a 5-acre site. We're basically a market garden, so we grow greens for Liverpool Organic Direct, box scheme in Liverpool, and we grow a lot of greens and salads. We also have agroforestry techniques like alley cropping, and so we grow hazelnuts and elder and various other things. But one of our utopian project that we actually bought the land for 4 years ago was to create a commercial forest garden. By commercial forest gardens, that all the crops from that would go on to be sold, which is very different than most forest gardens, which are usually for domestic consumption. So there's definitely a massive demand for dessert apples. We could just grow dessert apples and sell them easily. I think one of the things we've struggled with in the northwest, which is the weather's not great, if we're on the other side of the Pennines we might get away with more, is that obviously it's very wet, so we've had to choose varieties that are suitable for the climate, and also then we have to look at choosing ones that will travel as well, so we don't want stuff that easily bruises, things that holds its taste, so we've been on a massive learning curve, and I think one of my interests is sharing that information with other people. So if anyone else is interested in similar things, come and see what we've done, come and actually look at our mistakes as well, really, because I think it's not through doing that you actually learn what works and what doesn't. I think forest gardening generally is massively not been explored enough. If we could get that concept into the general psyche of farmers, that'd be amazing. And maybe we don't have to use the word forest gardening, maybe we just say multi-layered orchards, maybe we say nut groves, whatever the language isn't important. It's we need to be growing more perennial food crops, and how we go about that, and unless farmers see that that's going to be a benefit, so hence why we're sort of like a bit of an experiment of what works, what doesn't, kind of thing. But we are finding the nut crops are doing quite well. So our sweet chestnut, it's only a 3-year-old tree, so they're still thing, but we've got some on this year. We've also got almonds this year, so they're starting. I think within like a 5-year thing we'll have a sort of commercially viable crop. The downside with anything perennial is there's a lead-in time, so you don't have a commercial crop from year one. So maybe that's when policy comes into it. Policy that we have to support our farmers in the initial years to set up costs so that they can have. Also orchards have such biodiverse benefits. They're just like incredible spaces. So for example, under ours at the moment we have grassland, so we're encouraging that to be flower rich grassland. We scythe it just once a year, so we don't have no mechanism at all, and then all that sort of waste grass just goes under the trees, so it's feeding the trees. So how we create these symbiotic relationships with those, and the effects for wildlife and birds is amazing. We've seen a massive improvement in, particularly like we put in a little reservoir in a pond, we have little ducklings on there, so cute.